All right, thanks everyone for joining us this evening. Happy holiday season and happy Hanukkah to those of you that might be celebrating tonight. We appreciate you being here with us this evening, as I know everybody is busy these days, especially on Zoom meetings, so we appreciate your time and want to be respectful of that. Just wanted to let you guys know that this meeting is being recorded, so please be mindful of that as you skillfully and unskillfully, hopefully not unskillfully, mute and unmute yourself. And keep that in mind if you choose to have your camera on or off during the meeting. We'll be fielding questions at the end of the presentation tonight, so just hold on to any questions that you might have, and we will prompt you when to ask those. But this meeting, you should be able to mute and unmute. I don't believe there is a chat function, or I might just not be able to see it from my screen right now. So I apologize if you cannot use the chat function, but hopefully that won't be necessary this evening. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Stella Carr, the Sustainability Director for the town of Lexington. Some of the participants I can see are familiar faces, or at least names, as I can see everyone's faces. But those of you that don't know me, I'm new to the town. I started working with Lexington in July, so it's nice to meet you. And tonight we're here to discuss Lexington's Community Choice Program, so that you can learn more about what that program is, and that's a little bit about the history and what's going forward with that. Information about the new contract and prices that we have with our Community Choice Program, and why you should opt up within that program. And tonight, to help us learn more about that, we have Marlana, who is our representative from Peregrine, the town's consultant who helps with our Community Choice Program. And she will be leading the presentation, and we will help answer any questions about that at the end. But before she jumps in, are there any quick questions about logistics this evening that anyone might have? Feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question at this time. All right, seeing no one unmuting themselves, I will stop sharing my screen and allow Marlana to share hers.
Okay. All right, so actually I'm just going to see if I can make this look a little bit better. All right, can everybody, hold on there, how's that?
Looks good.
Okay, but I'm scrolling backwards through it, and I apologize. I had a couple monitors going. I had to simplify very quickly. All right, so there we go, cover slide. So thank you, Stella, for that introduction. And yes, my name is Marlena Patton, and I work with the consulting company hired by the town to manage this program. And as Stella said, what I'll do very quickly, I hope, is give you guys a quick review of what the program is and how it works. I know when you're in a program for a while, sometimes you can forget some of the details. And then we'll look at what's coming up soon, very soon in the program. And as this slide teases, new prices for everybody, and lower prices and more local renewable electricity for most people is coming up next. So first, just a quick review of what the program is. It's an electricity aggregation program, and that's a mouthful. So another way to think about it is as a form of group electricity purchasing. And an important element of it is that it is a trustworthy, transparent town alternative to the electricity marketing that you might be receiving in the mail, over the phone, or even maybe at your door before COVID. So a reminder of how it works. Without the program, Eversource provides you with two services. They both deliver and supply or buy your electricity. And this diagram is just showing that Eversource giving you everything, and Lexington off to the right, very happy. With the program, Eversource continues to deliver your electricity, but they're no longer your electricity supplier. Lexington is buying electricity from an electricity supplier that it chooses, in this case, a company called Constellation. And as a big customer, Lexington can specify the mix of that electricity, how much comes from clean sources. So in the diagram here, you'll see that the right 2/3 of it really look the same. The Eversource Lexington relationship hasn't changed. They're still the utility, they're still delivering electricity. There's no interruption in electricity. The new element is off to the left. It's your electricity supplier. And one other thing I want to just point out is in the middle, Eversource saying we're okay with this. Some folks are often concerned that they're going to get a lower quality of service, or they are somehow getting a lower quality of service by participating in a program like this. And you're not. Eversource really is okay with these programs. And the reason is because they don't make their profit off the supply charge portion of your bill. They make it off the delivery charge portion of your bill. So they're pretty neutral about whether they're the ones going out and buying your electricity or Lexington chooses its own company to buy electricity from. So speaking of your bill, just a quick reminder if you've lost track of how to find the program on your bill or where it appears. Your bill, if you look at a paper copy or a PDF, is a total that's a sum of two separate charges, the supply charge and a delivery charge. The delivery charge is the cost to deliver the electricity to you, maintain the infrastructure, the poles and the wires. The supply charge is the cost for the electricity itself, and that's where Lexington Community Choice Program comes in. It changes the price Eversource uses to calculate that part of your bill, and also down at the bottom where it says your electric supplier is, it will say Constellation if you're in Lexington's program. If you see another company named there, then you're not in Lexington's program. So what's coming next? Starting very soon is a new electricity supply contract. So I mentioned that Constellation is Lexington's supplier, and they have been for some time. And then the town went out to bid and got competitive bids from a number of suppliers in the marketplace, and Constellation won again. So a new contract with Constellation is starting imminently. It's a 3-year contract, and it's going to bring some changes. One of them is more clean electricity from New England, so more local clean electricity for most participants. Another is lower prices for most participants, though I have to offer the caveat that we can't guarantee that the program will provide savings compared to Eversource, and that's because Eversource's prices are always changing and we don't know what their future prices are. And then everybody's going to get 3 years of price stability and continue to receive the consumer protections you've been receiving, which includes things like the ability to leave the program at any time with no penalty or fee. So here's the detail. As I mentioned, these are it's a 3-year contract, so these prices, everything about this is fixed until December of 2023. On the left side there, you see 3 columns, and those are the 3 options in the program. And if you've been in the program for a while, you might have forgotten, or you may not have known that there are 3 options in the program. 2 of them, the 100% green and New England green option, both provide you with 100% renewable electricity, meaning from sources like the sun and the wind and not from fossil fuels. But there are differences in the makeup of them. So the 100% green option there on the far left, that's the program default, meaning that's the one you get if you don't request one of the other 2. And that's the one most participants are enrolled in. Chances are, if you're in the program, you're probably in the 100% green option. And that is giving you 100% renewable electricity, meaning from clean sources like the sun and the wind. And it's a mix, it's a blend of some local renewable electricity from New England and the balance from wind projects outside of New England. So right now, in the current contract with Constellation, that local renewable energy content includes the minimum amount required by the state plus 5% on top of it. So the minimum amount this year is 16%, and then Lexington's adding another 5%. So you're getting a total of 21% right now from within New England, and then the balance is coming from outside of New England. With the new contract, the additional amount on top of the state minimum is going to change from 5% to 20%. At the same time, the state minimum required amount is going to change from 16 to 18%. So your total amount of locally based renewable electricity is going to change from 21% to 38% with this new contract. So you're going to get a lot more locally based renewable electricity. At the same time, your price is going to go down. So right now your price is 11.624 cents a kilowatt hour. It's going to drop to 10.8. So you're going to get more for less with this 100% green option in the program. Now the New England green option provides you 100% renewable electricity also, but all of it comes from within New England. Because locally produced renewable electricity is a bit more expensive than electricity outside of New England, the price for New England green is a little bit higher. So that's your opt-up option. And the price for that is actually going up just a little bit because the price for local renewable electricity has gone up. So that's changing from 12.428 cents to 13.219 cents. But the mix isn't changing. It's still 100% locally produced renewable electricity. And then the budget option is your third option. That's your opt-down option. The budget option gives you just the minimum amount of renewable electricity required by state law. So that's 16% this year. It'll be 18% next year. The budget price is going down. So right now it's 11.494 cents a kilowatt hour. It's going down to 9.935 cents a kilowatt hour. And then to compare everything, what are we comparing it to? We're always comparing it to Eversource's basic service. So that's, back when I was explaining what you have if the program didn't exist. So Eversource's basic service price for winter will be 11.882 cents. So you can see that the 100% green and the budget options both offer prices that are lower than this winter price, which will go into effect on January 1st. But I do have to offer the caveat that the winter price is a short-term price. It's a 6-month price. Eversource's prices change, and that's the residential price. Eversource's prices change every 6 months or more frequently if you're a very large customer. And so again, back to the caveat that I offered before, for this reason, we can't guarantee that Lexington's prices are always going to be lower because those Eversource prices are ever changing and we don't know what the future prices are. But you do get a nice long stretch of price stability with Lexington's program, again, until December of 2023, which can insulate you from the winter price hikes, because that's usually when Eversource's prices go up. All right, so a moment to just talk briefly about why to opt up to the New England green option, because it does provide 100% renewable electricity, same as you get from the 100% green option. And the reason is because buying local matters, even when it comes to electricity. When you choose the New England green option, you're taking the biggest step you can within the program toward adding renewable electricity on the New England power grid. And the reason is because there's a more limited amount of electricity produced in the New England area than outside the New England region. There's less available. So when you buy some of it, you create market pressure, and that increased demand motivates developers to build new projects. So by choosing the 100% New England green, 100% local option, you're really helping to take a bigger bite out of that electricity supply locally and put the most market pressure possible to drive the development of new renewable electricity projects in the New England grid. And when you do that, you're helping to improve New England air quality at the same time, and you're supporting the local jobs that go with these projects. So anytime you can invest in local renewable electricity, it's really got a big picture benefit. And that's also why you see Lexington investing a little bit more, adding local renewable electricity to the 100% green option also. All right, so if you're in the program, no action is required in order to participate in this new contract. If you're already in the program, you're going to get moved automatically into the new contract and get the new prices and the extra renewable electricity if you're in that 100% green option with your December 2020 meter read, which will be at the end of December. You'll be enrolled in the same option as you have now also. So you don't have to worry about moving around. You'll just go over parallel, you'll just get a new price on your bill, and that new price will appear on the bill for your January electricity use, which will probably come to you near the end of January or beginning of February. That's the first time that you would see the price on your bill. So, common questions: what if you want to make a change from one option to another before the new contract takes effect? It's easy to do. You just want to make sure you make your request about 10 days before your meter read in December. Your bill will have your meter read date. Everybody's got a different one. So you want to take a look at your bill and just get that request in as soon as you can. What if you miss it? Does that mean you can't make a change? No, you can make a change anytime after the new contract takes effect too. That's the nice thing about Lexington's program, is it's really flexible. You can make changes from one program option to another anytime. There's no penalty or fee, or you can opt out if you don't want to participate any longer, again, with no penalty or fee. There's no hard deadlines. If you're not in the program right now, or you know someone who's not in the program who wants to get these prices, or who wants to get this extra renewable electricity, there's no hard deadline there either. Enroll at any time. You could sign up now, you could sign up a few months from now, you could sign up a year from now. It's very straightforward. And how do you do it? Well, you can do it in one of two ways. There's a program website, which is masspowerchoice.com/Lexington. If you click your options at the top, you'll see one option is to enroll, another option is to change your option, another option is to opt out. So it's pretty straightforward. So you can do everything through the website, or if you'd prefer to have some help, we'd be happy to talk you through it over the phone. And our customer support line is right there on the bottom of the screen. So that's my quick overview, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you folks have about it. And Stella, I can turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Thanks for that quick and a thorough presentation. I'm able to see if anyone unmutes themselves. So since the raise hand function isn't active, if you have a question, just take yourself off mute, and then I can sort of go by and prompt you to ask your question. That way we don't have anyone sort of speaking over anyone else.
And I'll just leave the slide up for now too, so if people want to write down phone numbers or web addresses, they can.
Don't be shy.
Stella, it's Cindy. Can I ask a question?
Oh, yep, there you are. Sorry, I'm scrolling through the long list. Didn't see you there. Go ahead.
Hi, I have been part of this program for a while. I don't really have any questions about it. I'm really excited about it. Marlena and Stella, thank you for putting it together and explaining it so well. I was just curious how long this type of program has been in Lexington.
Let me think about when you guys launched. I can tell you that if you give me just a second. Let me just stop sharing my screen very briefly, and I will be able to tell you for sure. Okay, so your program launched a few years ago in July of 2017. So it's been a few years now.
Thank you very much. Could you also, sorry, this is still Cindy, I have another question. Could you estimate if I wanted to opt up, you know, from the 100% green to the New England green, do you have any idea about how much more that might cost?
Well, it will depend on how much electricity you use every month. But the price difference, so you're talking like from the current 100% green price to the new New England green price. So that price difference, I'll calculate that really quickly for you. So the price difference between the current 100% green price and the new New England green price is 1.577 cents a kilowatt hour. So if you, for example, like the average household, let's say in Lexington, uses about 766 kilowatt hours per month. So if we do 1.5, sorry, 0.01577 times 766. That's about $12 more per month that you would be paying to opt up from the current 100% green to the new England green price.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I saw Regini, sorry if I mispronounced your name. I saw you had unmuted yourself. Did you have a question?
Yeah, hi, this is Ragini Papak. I wanted to ask if the New England Green, is that a Lexington specific program or is it a Massachusetts program? And what is the mix for New England Green versus the Lexington program that you are advocating for?
So the New England Green is the one that's all based in New England. It's not Lexington or Massachusetts specific. It's New England. So the renewable energy projects could come from all over New England. There's a lot in, for example, Maine, a lot of wind projects in Maine. So the mix of the New England Green is just renewable electricity projects from New England. The 100% green option is also 100% renewable, but that is some from New England and some from outside New England. So that's the difference. That's what explains the difference in the price. When you buy renewable electricity from outside New England, it's a little bit cheaper, but it doesn't have the impact on the New England power grid. It doesn't help to drive more renewable energy projects in New England, but you are still investing in clean electricity. It just doesn't have the local impact. So the 100% green, which is the default, that's a mix of both New England-based and external renewable electricity. And the New England green is all from New England.
Got it, got it. Yeah, I'm always confused about the fact that, you know, if the electricity that we are getting, like for example, the Constellation folks who we get electricity from now, right? They're based in Texas. And I always wonder if it is based on the renewable energy credits, or is it like coming direct to the grid? Like how, you know, there's a big difference where you're making the right choice, but you just don't know the energy that you're consuming is 100% green or not.
So where they're based is not connected to the kind of renewable electricity that they're buying for Lexington. That's just their company headquarters. But what their contract says is they will buy renewable electricity in specific ways for Lexington. So, and they are buying renewable energy certificates. You're right about that. That is how you buy renewable electricity. So the town has contracted with them to buy renewable electricity certificates from only renewable energy projects in New England for that New England green option. And then for the 100% green option, they are buying those, some from within New England, and then the rest are from wind projects outside of New England. And that's all based in the contract.
Got it, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I see Pam Hoffman has a question.
Sure, this is Peter. I'm wondering if you know the breakdown between the different sources in New England. What's hydro, what's wind, what's solar?
For the renewable energy, I don't know the exact percentages, but I will tell you that in general, the vast majority of the renewable energy certificates that are available for sale for something like this are from wind and solar. And by far, they are dominated by wind, by miles and miles. So the great likelihood is that the extra, or we call it the voluntary renewable electricity, because of course there's a component of the renewable electricity that you get that's mandated by the state. So that's the required amount. And then there's this extra stuff that Lexington's added, an extra 20% in the 100% green, and then it'll be 82% extra in the New England green, which brings it up to 100%. The renewable energy certificates that are typically available for that kind of voluntary purchase are most of the time wind-based. Most of the time, that's what you're getting.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Is Linnell or Lionel?
Linnell, yes. So just a comment. A great presentation. What is the mechanism for getting the word out? And maybe it's happened and I just didn't realize it, to encourage people to go with the plan with the local renewable. Have you been putting stuff out on, I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of push towards it, and I think it'd be great if a lot of people would jump on it or opt up, I guess.
So we're actually, with this new rollout of notifying everybody about the price changes, you should be seeing in your next tax bill some information promoting the opt-up program, and as well, like in our newsletter and some of the other press that's out there, which we just released last week. And so hopefully you'll continue to see an uptick in promotion of opting up within the town, and as well an uptick in people signing on to opt up as a result of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. And then Pat or Patricia?
I just want to make sure if we do nothing, then we will just continue at the green, which would be 10.8 cents per kilowatt hour. Is that correct?
If that's what you're enrolled in now, then yes, you would get moved into that same option at the new price, the 10.8 price. So if that's what you have now, which it is what most people have. So if that's what you have now, and you did not previously opt up to the New England Green or opt down to basic, then yep, you'd go straight across and you'd get that 10.8 price. You don't have to do anything.
So it was 11.6.
Yep, 11.624. Yep, it's going
Okay.
down to 10.8.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Tina, I see you have your hand up. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, yeah, thanks. Marlena, this is awesome. Thank you so much. I have a question about, sometimes people have asked me if they get something in the mail about other energy options, about clean energy options, but it doesn't come from Eversource. What is it that people should be looking for so that they don't get out of the community program that we're in? They don't get lured away on, it can be misleading, it can be confusing. So what should they be looking for?
That's a great question.
In the aggregate.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because you're right. It's really confusing. I've even had elected officials call me embarrassed because they got something in the mail and were confused and signed up thinking it was their own town's program and it wasn't. So it's very confusing. So the thing to remember is if it's coming from Eversource, it will have an Eversource logo on it. Eversource doesn't do anything without their logo. They also don't make sales calls. So if you get a call from someone who claims to be from Eversource, they're not. Eversource communicates with you about your bill in writing, and their logo is always on it. So you should either look for the Eversource logo or look for the town seal. If it's coming from the town, it will have the town seal. If you don't see either of those two things, no matter how official it looks, no matter whether it has a state like map on it, or it says something about official announcement, or it just looks official, if you don't see the town seal or the Eversource logo, it's a piece of marketing from another company. And the thing to remember is you will get offers for renewable electricity. The offers are typically for electricity from outside New England. And you can make that choice. It's entirely within your right. But that can also confuse people because you'll get an offer in the mail that will say it's 100% renewable electricity and it's cheaper than Lexington's offering. And that's because they're buying only renewable electricity from outside New England, which is very inexpensive. And you're welcome to make that choice. If your goal is to help drive the development of new renewable electricity projects in New England, though, on the local grid, you're not going to be having that impact. And it's also likely that your purchase won't be motivating new projects on the grid that those other renewable energy projects are on either, because your purchase will be a very small drop in a very big bucket. So if your goal is to support the local power grid, those other offers are often not going to help you do it. If they were selling you locally based renewable electricity, they would mention it because it is more expensive and they would need to justify that price to you.
So just a follow-up question. Is there any way that you could put in the chat? I did phone at one point. I had seen a number that I was able to call to confirm that I was in the community aggregate program. Is there any way you could post that in the chat so that if people have any questions, they can look at it and find out tonight?
So that is the last slide that I was sharing. That's the customer
Okay.
support number. So I can share my screen again. But it's just the customer support number that you're always welcome to call, and we're happy to look you guys up and figure out whether you are in the program or not. Let's see if I can get that. There you go. So
Thanks
that's the
very
number
much.
to call. Sure.
And then was it Peter Hoffman, not Pam?
No, actually, it's Pam this time.
Oh, I tried.
No, that's okay. I actually have two questions. The first is, what percentage of Lexington households are signed up to participate in this program?
Oh, you know, I confess I don't have the total percentage right now compared to total households in Lexington. But I will say in general, your participation is very high, and in a typical community, it's in excess of 70%. And I would expect that to be the case in Lexington too. But I confess, while I look at the numbers about your enrollment, I don't know what the total number of accounts is in Lexington. But the last time we checked, it would have been up over 70%. That's the normal.
Okay, thank you. So my second question is there any other way to, I don't know if put pressure is the right word, or to influence New England suppliers to increase their ability to supply electricity, other than signing up for them right now to put upward pressure on the demand?
Well, it's all market based. So the more locally based renewable electricity you buy, the stronger the customer base is for that kind of renewable electricity. So that is the big lever that everybody's using as market-based levers. There are other reasons that developers, you know, besides having strong customer base, the regulatory environment can be more or less favorable to them. And so the regulators are always working on ways to make it profitable to build renewable electricity in New England and remove regulatory hurdles. Those are other aspects to it. But the market-based approach is really the one that is within reach of most consumers, is to just go out there and show your support by buying as much as you can locally. And that is what tells developers that there are customers out there.
Okay, but I guess there has to be some kind of critical mass. You know, what's the tipping point? At which point does it make a difference to the developers?
It already does make a difference. There's so many aggregations now coming online that are increasing their amount of renewables that it does make a difference to developers. In New England, the money that developers get from these renewable energy certificates is a significant part of their calculation for whether or not a project is going to be profitable. It's a significant revenue stream for them. It's not an insignificant piece. They sell both the electricity into the grid and they sell these renewable energy certificates. So they take that very seriously into account when they're building these projects. They can't build them without the REC revenue stream. So it's an extremely big and important lever that does make a difference. It already is an integral part of the motivation for developers to build here.
Okay, thank you. And thanks for the great presentation.
Sure.
And then Cindy, you had another question?
Yes, thank you. No, I just wanted to, going back to your discussion about other entities that may send marketing material and what to look out for. Oftentimes it's my experience, just because I've helped some other people in town with this, it's my experience that that other marketing even if they have a lower price, oftentimes if you look at the fine print, it's only for 3 months or something like that, and then there's no guarantee after it. So I just wanted to see, Marlena, if you thought that was your same experience, and that would be a reason certainly to stay with Lexington's program because your price is fixed.
Absolutely, it's one of the benefits of the program is the fixed price and the transparency about the price. You're right, many offers are low introductory price offers that take advantage of the fact that you stop looking at your bill after the intro period has ended, and then the price rises quite significantly. Not all do that, but enough do that people really get stuck. We're frequently getting phone calls from people, probably some of the folks who helped, who find themselves in prices that are almost double Eversource's price. So yeah, it's a big deal, and Lexington's price stability is one of the great benefits of the program. Absolutely.
Feel free to continue asking questions if you have any. Well, I don't see any other questions. So as I mentioned, this is being recorded. So Marlena and I will stay on for a bit longer in case anyone needs to digest this for a few minutes and ask any questions. So those might be answered on the recording, but unless you have any other questions at this time, thank you for being here tonight. Spread the word, tell your neighbors, let them know that the recording will be up and available shortly, so that if they weren't able to join us tonight, they can watch this at their leisure and stay informed on this. And as I mentioned, look out in your mail for the official town notification about the Community Choice Aggregation Program, which you should be receiving in your next tax bill. Feel free to go on with your evenings or stick around and ask any other questions. We'll be here for a few more minutes. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Stan, do you have a question? All right, I'm going to stop the recording now since it doesn't seem like there's any other questions. And the remaining few who hung on to the last moment, thanks again for joining us. Feel free to leave at this time.